I just hope that in light of everything that's happening right now, that everybody is staying safe and, following the guidelines so that, as we keep moving through this pandemic that, we'll come out on the other side and we'll be able to be, stronger as a university, stronger as an athletic department, but hopefully also stronger human beings too. And that's what I think that's what the best thing that could possibly happen would be. So I appreciate your time, and I'm happy to answer any questions.
Yeah, this is Skyridge from the News Gazette. You were supposed to be competing on March 12th. I'm just curious, kind of, what happened for your team that day. I mean, were you in Cleveland, or what all kind of went down there?
Yeah, it was an interesting day. We had 13 athletes that were competing. We had two of our divers, Taylor Shigos and Aaron Young. They're in Lexington, Kentucky, for NCAA diving zones to potentially qualify for the NCAA championships. And then we had 11 of our swimmers were up in Cleveland. And on the diving side, I was actually in Lexington for the 1 meter, and then I was supposed to fly up to Cleveland. And for the diving, it was the 1 meter competition for the women, and they got through the preliminary session, and they were into the finals, and it was the second round out of 6 rounds, and they stopped mid-second round, and then we all went home. On the swimming side, excuse me, the swimmers, they were able to they competed that Thursday, so they were able to do prelims and finals. And then that Friday, they came home as well. So cut a little bit, got some competition in, but most of it was cut short.
I guess by being in that unique position where you were among maybe the last athletes in the country, competing, just what was that like, and maybe to have, it end, at that point, especially with some divers at the NCAA championships, and something they shoot for
right.
an entire season.
Right. It was a very surreal day because it was getting constant updates, either on social media or through our administration. My sport administrator, Keiko Price, she was in contact with me throughout the day on what was happening, and so it's just sort of trying to, have some contingency plans started and, but still support our athletes as best as we could so that they, excuse me, could still compete and, would, have a sense of, what was happening. And, at both the meets, I know in Cleveland, they had already restricted it. It was just the competitors. There were no spectators. So it was already a different kind of environment. And then for the diving zones, it was only family members that were allowed in the stand. So again, a little bit, different environment. And so it was, one of those things where it just seemed like, hour by hour, we were going on, are we doing this? Are we stopping? Do we need to go home? Are we pulling everybody? And so it was, definitely different. And, it's, unfortunate. And I feel, sorry for the athletes that, would have made it potentially to the NCAA championships, and obviously they don't have that opportunity to compete there. And also for all the athletes that were at the meet in Cleveland, getting that one last shot of, swimming fast at the end of the season, and then they were actually going to have some time trials to potentially, get some Olympic trial qualifying times too. So definitely it was a, we understand why, but it was also, trying to contain the emotions and, help everybody through it.
I guess as a coach, how do you have that conversation of, well, we're just packing up and going home? The season's over.
We were trying to, keep everybody as up to date as possible, and the athletes are all over social media, so they were up to date as well as everybody. And it was for the swimmers in Cleveland, some of the teams pulled out. They were, told to go home right after prelims. We gave our team that option, and our swimmers there, they just said, "Hey, no, we want to compete. We're here to compete." And so, I like their enthusiasm that they took advantage of that one last opportunity that they understood that they were going to have for the season to, be able to step up and, represent Illinois. And then, on the, for the divers, it was, just trying, helping them understand. And, our diving coach, Manny Pollard, he did, a great job, in working with them and talking with them to, help them, cope with their opportunities cut short, which is, always disappointing.
I suppose now, what type of plans maybe the coaching staff put together for your athletes to stay active and stay in shape? So that I guess I sort of doubt that they can get in a pool at this point.
Yeah, most public pools, I know they're not available. I've been having individual meetings with all of our athletes and all of our incoming athletes as well, and some of them actually have backyard pools that they've opened up early, and so they're starting to do some stuff there. Our strength and conditioning coaches have sent them out a program so that they can continue to do some dry land as much as possible. I know Manny, our diving coach, he's been sending out videos so they can still do some look at top divers and do like video analysis of what they see for each dive. And then I've sent out like an old summer conditioning program that we've done, and we're just trying to encourage them to stay as active as possible while staying as safe as possible and following the guidelines. And so it's pretty tough on the swimming side. It's hard to mimic swimming on land, so that's something that we'll just see how long this goes. And obviously there'll be a lot of, when we get back and able to get back into a pool, it'll be a process of building them back up, building their base back up, so that we can get them back to competition ready.
And the NCAA made their announcement Monday that they're going to grant the extra year of eligibility to spring sport athletes. I mean, you had reached kind of the very end of your season. Did you think that winter sport athletes would get the same consideration, or what was, I guess, your take as they debated that process?
Right. I didn't think that they were going to grant it for winter sports just because the majority have had, we're close to the end of their season. Obviously it's always, disappointing and, I'm, frustrating and sad for the athletes that were still competing or still had that opportunity either for, the Big Ten championships or the NCAA championships, and, obviously our basketball team, to do the Big Ten, tournament and all that. And so it's, I just think for the winter sports, I think it, is a lot of variables that had to go into that discussion, and I was anticipating that winter sports were not going to have that opportunity to get a year of eligibility back.
I suppose the last one for me. I guess I saw where your team had a Zoom video conference meeting. Have you used that before? It seems like everyone maybe in the world is using Zoom at this point, and I hadn't heard of it until like last month.
Yeah, me either. So, yes, I am using Zoom a lot now. I'm trying to, get up to speed. I'm good on the one-on-one meetings, so I'm doing a lot of. That's where I'm doing all my individual meetings with the team on the Zoom platform. And even with some of the recruits that we have, we're using Zoom or FaceTime. With that, so my next big step with Zoom is trying to figure out how to do. We're trying to do like individual class meetings things as a team to talk, just to talk about stuff. And I need to try to figure out how to moderate that and and do it well. But it's been very helpful in staying in contact with the team, and being able to have that FaceTime with them as well, which I always think is important.
Hi, Sue. It's Angel Cortez from the Daily Illini. Now with like summer and like beginning of fall season sports up in the air, how could this or what this potentially means for the start of the fall season, basically, like all the training and stuff.
Right now we're sort of at the mercy of obviously what we keep talking about. I mean, there's mandates coming down from the federal government, from the state, and also at the university level. And currently, we're sort of taking it day by day on what we're potentially looking at for the start of the fall season. And if it does happen on time, that's great. But if it doesn't, we'll have our make those contingency plans. And for any kind of training, again, it's sort of day by day in terms of, okay, hopefully we'll reach that the plateau, and we'll start to come out the other side. And as potentially facilities open up, okay, how long have they been out of the water? And working with our our other coaches on staff, and with our strength and conditioning and our sports medicine staff to develop the best training program that we can to get them back in good shape, good fitness level. And for the start of the season, I'm just sort of taking it as it comes, and waiting to hear from different layers and levels above me.
Mm-hmm. Okay, I'm going to transfer over to, I'm doing a feature on Junior Revised, so I'm going to ask you a few questions about her. So,
sure.
When recruiting her, what made her stand out? Like, what made you want her to come to Illinois?
Well, I mean, the easiest thing for us with recruiting is obviously we get to see how fast they are, and we know how smart they are. The biggest thing is for us is as we go through is we get to get a good idea of who they are as a person, and are they going to be an asset to the team? And Jean-Marie just has just a dynamic personality, and she brings a lot of enthusiasm to the team, and she wants to keep improving as a swimmer, and she wants the team to keep improving. And that as we were able to meet her through the course of recruiting her, that was something that really stood out about her, was that she was a personality that we definitely wanted on the team.
And can you just speak about her season? So when she started and now where she is now?
Sure. She came in, and it took her, obviously, being from South Africa, an international student, it took her some time to adjust to being in the States, being away from home, and also being at university, and getting the gist of, okay, how does college work, and all that. And so her fall semester, you could see her steadily improving and becoming more comfortable as she was going through, and in our competitions as well. And then in the spring semester, I would say as an athlete, she definitely turned the corner, and she was back in great shape, and she was competing and racing really, really well, and she was, again, just a good asset for the team. And so it was a process, as it is for all freshmen to adjust. But being that far away from home, and figuring out the university, I think that took some time, definitely.
And what can you say that she has potential for in the future?
I think she has a lot of potential. She dropped a lot of time this this year, and she was one of those athletes that was up in Cleveland that was trying to get one last competition in, and so I think she's as now that she's adjusted, she's really ready to keep taking those steps to improve as an athlete. She knows what to expect now. She's going to get stronger, through our work in the weight room, and we're going to keep working on developing her as a swimmer, and sort of it's just working as coaches and coming up and working our plan, development plan for her, so that she can continue to see those that steady progress as she goes through her 4 years here at Illinois.